Hey, I'm ktyler, the Social Impact Director of the Psychosynthesis Trust and also part of the leadership team.
And what drew you to the role at the Trust, Kenny?
It was quite organic because my husband was studying as a counsellor at the Trust at the time, and he used to come home really excited and he'd be like, oh, can you read this essay of mine, or should we watch this documentary on Assajolie? And it sort of just grew, and I was understanding these concepts that I've never heard of before, like bifocal vision or subpersonalities. And I was like, how have I never heard of the Psychosynthesis Trust or psychosynthesis before, especially as I'm a psychologist? So I'm really been operating in this transpersonal world for quite some time. So it was a real revelation to be introduced to this way of thinking and way of training. And it came across at a time, I suppose, when I was doing a lot, doing being the operative word, and I was getting a lot of nudges from the universe to slow down and to be more. And that whole being part of the team and being introduced to the trust really helped navigate that and facilitate that in my life. And yeah, it's been a really lovely transition into a new way of thinking and being.
So obviously you're working on the social impact project, which is exploring anxiety. And I know you ran a pilot last year. Can you just tell us about the research that led onto the theme and the project itself?
Yeah. So my first few months in role were quite exciting and very freeing, because it was like, let's go and research the social needs of this area in London and the UK. And so I went really down a rabbit hole looking at everything from poverty to diversity and inclusion, mental health, effects of COVID, climate crisis. And I was thinking, where is the strength here? Where is the focus? And when I started to look at them from an aerial point of view, there was this golden thread that went through them all that seemed to be anxiety. And unfortunately, it doesn't feel like it's going away. 1 in 6 people are clinically diagnosed with some form of anxiety as we speak. So created this 10-week exploring anxiety program where participants experience psychosynthesis principles, but so they'd be doing things like meditations and relaxation techniques and discussions about things, but through the lens of nature, because nature's, well, it's inclusive for everybody. It doesn't judge. It's accessible to everybody. And there's so much research that shows just being in nature is good for your mental health and your physical health. So combining those elements together of, ways to actually feel that you can disidentify from your anxiety, but also feel held in a space where there's community, and the stigma around feeling anxious is actually, oh, everyone else is feeling like this, it's not just me, has made such an impact. Just that in itself really helps people not feel like they are different. And I'm sure both of us, I can speak that experience anxiety from many areas on a regular basis. So that project also developed that sense of community, because we work with local third sector organisations. So we're involving people into their local community to see, well, who does community gardening and who does this? And so I can continue with this after the programme, and I can feel like I've got a sense of belonging and a sense of where I fit in my community. And that again reduces anxiety, because you create support systems around you. So yeah, it's growing. It's an always developing project, but these are the core themes.
Yeah, lovely. Great. Thank you for so much detail on it. I think I completely agree. I was just nodding my head at everything you said, because it seems to be everywhere. There's like climate anxiety, anxiety driven by, like you mentioned, social media. Also, the news story. So yeah, it's everywhere, and I don't think there's anybody it doesn't touch.
Right.
So. What were you hoping the project brought to psychosynthesis?
When the board were recruiting for my role, it was one of the questions that I was asking. So why are we one of the first organizations to start being really active about a social impact project in psychosynthesis? And so the board were really passionate about how can we put psychosynthesis in action so people can experience it without even really knowing what it is, to create curiosity, to empower them to think, oh, this is a different way I can be thinking or doing or being, and, you know, attracting people to want to learn more. That's what the aim of this social impact was, is to do good and to feel good as an organization that we are doing good. But as a byproduct of that, people get to experience these practical modalities and these ways of thinking and doing things differently that then spark up, oh, what's this again? Where did this come from? So that's why we don't really, in the project, we don't really name things like disidentification, even though they experience that space between them and their anxiety. And then they like go, where's this based us? What's the principles of us learning that? So it's a nice, gentle way of us being out there in the world and also spreading the word of psychosynthesis.
So what is next for the Exploring Anxiety project, but also social impact from the trust?
Well, it's little old me and I want to do lots. So, you know, this is the emergent way that the trust works, is it's just to, you know, have momentum, have strong purpose and direction, but let's see what emerges along the process. And that's been such an insightful journey for me being in post. We've done the pilot project, as you said. We have community programs available, which are for free. So they are themed in the areas of health anxiety, in the areas of eco or climate anxiety, and for disadvantaged youth, because they're the three areas that we're seeing a real surge of anxiety happening at the moment. So those areas are available to run for free within you know, local organizations, and the more facilitators we have trained, the further the program can spread. So I'm so excited with the facilitators that we've had apply to train with us, because that just means that these people are spreading the word and they can run it themselves in their own organizations once they're trained. And we are launching our corporate program. So the corporate program is the same 10-week program in corporations, but the way that the model, the ecosystem is created, is a corporate program funds a community program to run for free. And they can choose what area they want to invest in those three areas of health, youth, and anxiety and climate anxiety. So these are the areas that we want it to grow, but who knows what's next?
Yeah, plenty more to come.